Boss battles are great, aren't they? Encounters that test your mettle in every sense of the word and leave you a better gamer for beating them. But you know what's not great? When you meet a boss that spanks your ass more raw than I like my steaks and makes you feel like a big old baby. Now, us older gamers, aka the ones with the receding hairlines, are used to getting our knees weakened by bosses. Hell, our childhood diet subsisted of beatings and tears when it came to games. But before you go saying that the kids of today don't understand the rigors of good boss battles, well, the entries on this list are just that. Fantastically difficult encounters worthy of praise. With this in mind, I'm Jules from WhatCulture.com, and these are the 9 hardest video game boss battles of 2017 so far. Number 9. Dark Eater Midear, or Meteor. Gonna kick this list off with a game that was technically released in 2016 because the rules, am I right? No, seriously though, this is here because I'm counting the 2017 DLC for Dark Souls 3 as good enough reason to pop it here at the tippy top of my listy lop. Lop isn't even a word, why did I even go there? And at the top of this ball-busting crop is Dark Eater Midear, or Meteor as some people are pronouncing him. Now I know that by now everyone and their Simon Miller space gran are aware that Dark Souls bosses are tough, but this guy is a bona fide shit. His monstrous size allows for attacks that will near one-shot a player, and his health pool is deeper than my love for FromSoft themselves. The fight itself is excellent as it showcases a long-running issue the devs have had with giving players an awesome dragon fight. It's intense from start to finish, and will definitely see you lose a shedload of lives in the process. Number 8. Cauldron Zeta Thunderjaw, Horizon Zero Dawn. A robotic T-Rex sounds like the makings of a 5-year-old me's wet dream. Now, if you told me at this age that the robotic T-Rex would also be called Thunderjaw, I would have lost my shit. This monster is utterly outstanding in both design and challenge, and it's at its beastly best in the Cauldron Zeta arena. Where fighting these things out in the wild is manageable thanks to greater space to avoid the thunder, in this arena it's a nightmare because it's so confined. This is a battle which will push you to your limits and exhaust your supply of tripwires and tear blast arrows. Outstanding, but goddamn is it difficult. Number 7. Emil, Nier Automata. Oh, Emil, you cheeky face scamp. This lovable ball with a weird voice pops up again and again in Nier Automata to sell you goods. Yet, if you think he's all smiley emotes and hashtag lols, if you steal from him, you're going to face quite possibly the toughest boss in the game. This fight is extremely challenging as Emil creates a maelstrom of robot heads that you need to dodge perfectly to even get close to striking him. While you can use your pod to chip away at him, this only serves to rile up the rounded ruffian further. His level 99 standing is going to see you get rebooted hard if he connects with any of his hits, so my advice is to play it safe and leave him well the hell alone. But then again, you'd be missing out on one of the greatest fights in the game, so maybe it's worth taking a punt at this round-faced chap. Number 6. Big Sister, The Surge. Now, so far on this list I've spoken about boss battles which were challenging, supremely difficult in fact, but were still fun to fight. Big Sister from The Surge changes that somewhat by not just being rock hard, but also one of the most frustrating counters in this and any other Souls-like game. The issue comes with having her 5+ arms attack you from above, and when you couple this with a less than stellar camera, ends up in a ton of off-screen attacks resulting in a big old pile of retries and rage. It's a chore to get through and is way more difficult than was clearly intended. Number 5. Hino Enma, Neo. Oh, Hino Enma, you stun-locking bitch! If you get caught in her beams, you'll be left in a statue-like pose for up to 6 seconds, depending on which one grazed you. Plus, if she grabs you, it's a near insta-kill move, which will infuriate even the most hardcore players. Aside from these 2 moves, it's a relatively straightforward fight. She's got a basic moveset after all, but my god, will these attacks seem to hit even harder when you're just chilling on Statue Street. Grumble! Number 4. Headlock Arms. If you thought that the recently released Arms was all cute and cuddly fun, well, get ready to throw that sentiment out of the window because here comes Headlock. Only encounterable when paired with a fellow fighter online, this is going to task you both with taking down the hardest boss in the game. One wrong move and you're eating a flurry of haymakers, and your response hits have to be near pixel perfect. Doing this alone might be achievable, but adding in the unreliable nature of a second player and having to rely on them to pull their weight can make for some hilariously quick fights. Number 3. Any multiverse difficulty spike, Injustice 2. Now, this isn't technically a boss fight in the traditional sense, but in terms of challenge, this decks quite a few other entries on this list. When playing the multiverse mode in Injustice 2, you'll constantly be met with alternative reality plotlines, complete with difficulty spikes which will probably impale you. Even if you set the difficulty to normal, you're going to be facing a brick wall of brutal beatdowns. And as such, they start to feel like bosses, huge and ultimately frustrating challenges to overcome. There's nothing like the joy you'll feel in beating them, but conversely, there's nothing like the rage you feel when they beat you 50 times in a row. Number 2. Devil Kazuya, Tekken 7. Despite Tekken 7's campaign being over-the-top silliness, it does deliver on that main message of all the marketing, the final, most epic showdown between Heihachi and Kazuya. Taking place inside a volcano, I mean, where else would it be, Kazuya eventually transforms into his devil form. And if you've recently watched the video Peter and I did on cheap bosses, you'll know what we thought about this pig trough of a fight. If his moves connect, you'll go flying, only to be juggled by uppercuts, eye lasers, flying charges, and more. Plus, thanks to Tekken 7's new Rage Art super moves that activate when any character is low on health, Kazuya can take your entire life bar if the AI just decides to use it before the end of the fight. F*** you f***ing laser-eyed And number 1, Thunderblight Ganon, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So let's get this out of the way. If I don't praise Breath of the Wild every turn, then the collective internet and the fury of Scott will rain down on me for many a moon. However, Thunderblight Ganon comes dangerously close to being downright broken. His insanely fast moveset feels really out of place with the slower paced combat you've experienced thus far. Plus, he's got this nasty habit of stun-locking you and making you drop all your weapons, which, oh boy, let me tell you, fills up my bowl with a spicy vomit-fueled rage. If you can best this monster, then credit to you, because the glory you're rewarded with is akin to a Dark Souls boss. And that's a really odd statement when you're talking about Zelda. Still, so much spicy rage. And that's our list. Got any more bosses that totally undid you? Well, let me know about them in the comments section below. And then why not swing by whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. As always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon.